One thing that's been discussed in the news lately is the Governor's Commission on Global Warming. David Sanders has written a series of articles on that, and they're coming to the legislature with a list of recommendations that they have. What do you see the legislature doing with that? I mean, we've got these recommendations. What are you going to do with that?
Well, I have a post on RobbieWills.com that covers this subject, but I'll direct folks to that. But I think it's been interesting to watch the work of this commission and watch the response to the work of this commission, because there's almost a tendency out there to do the us versus them on this. It's either going to be we're going to be green and take care of our environment, or we're going to have a strong economy. And I don't see that as necessarily a two-sided issue. I think both of those things have to be harmonious. They have to work together. Obviously, we don't want to be an island in the United States of America where doing business becomes restrictive or impossible, not with the competition that's out there for jobs and all the other things that we have to compete for. So we want to take a measured approach, but where I'm coming from on this is I'm not one of those that thinks global warming is a hoax. I think it's something that, although not entirely caused by man, certainly the evidence is there that I've seen. I've studied it. That we're exacerbating the natural ebb and flow of warming and cooling. Now, I'm not a scientist. I'm not going to get into the scientific studies, but I approach this from the standpoint of we need to be responsible. We need to do what we can in the environment that we have now to have a harmonious relationship between business and industry. So between the environmental interest and the business interest. So I say all that to say this: I don't think the recommendations that actually make it into legislation that we will consider this session are going to be the type of things that are going to engender a lot of controversy. I think these are going to be progressive steps. They're going to be an interim step out of the Global Warming Commission's recommendations.
So it's probably safe to say that a good portion of the recommendations won't make their way into final legislation. Would that be safe to say?
Well, that's my understanding.
Okay.
Yes, and I'm going on the information that I get from folks who are a lot more involved with the commission's work than I am. But I don't think you'll see a hugely controversial package of legislation coming from the commission.
Okay. So. The last question I have for you, we've talked a lot about the big issues that you're working on as speaker. What are some of the issues that, as just a representative from Conway, representing your home district, that you're going to be looking at?
Well, UCA is in my district.
Okay.
I'm an alumnus of UCA. I'm very proud to be a Bear. And obviously, I'm keenly interested in higher education issues from a large standpoint, but particularly how it affects the university. We've had a very tough year at the University of Central Arkansas, and rightfully so. There were some decisions made that we would rather have not happened, and we've had a change in leadership. We're in the process of a search for a new president that we hope will offer a great leadership style and take us to the next level. But I'm concerned, and I don't think this will materialize, but I'm concerned that there would be some kind of a punishment of the University of Central Arkansas because of what had happened under the previous administration. So I'm keeping an eye on that. And our interim president, Tom Courtway, is the perfect person for the job, not only because he understands the university and its needs, having been the general counsel for several years, but also a former state representative who still has a lot of respect, and an interim director of the Department of Education for a time. In fact, his first appearance down here as the interim president of UCA, he said, "If I ever show up here in an interim capacity again, take me outside and shoot me." So, but that, and I'm like any representative. When my constituents call me and they need me or they need something from state government, then I hop on it and try to take care of it. And that won't change just because I have this added responsibility of being speaker.
Well, we'll be glad to hear that.
Great.
Thank you for taking time
Sure.
to meet me today. I hope we can maybe do this again before the session's over.
Absolutely.
I'm hoping to maybe interview several legislatures as the session progresses. I think it'll be a lot of fun.
Great, thank you.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate it.